the Russia-Ukraine thing spills over into something? How do you see this playing out?
So my honest anticipation, what I expect will happen, is that China will make a legal move on Taiwan. What China did in Hong Kong was legal first. They changed the laws in Hong Kong. They changed the laws in China, which then changed the laws in Hong Kong, which made it legal for them to go in and take Hong Kong by force. In 2019, right before COVID hit, the whole world watched, and it happened. And the whole world complained and threw a fit and leveraged sanctions and said it was unfair and unjust and everything else. And then the Chinese did it anyways. And now here it is 2023, and most people don't even remember what happened in Hong Kong just 4 years ago. Some people say that what happened in Ukraine is that the world rallied behind Ukraine by giving them weapons and giving them training and giving them resources. The most limited resource in Ukraine is Ukrainian soldiers. It's not tanks or guns or howitzers. The thing that will run out first is Ukrainian fighters. It's a shame to me to watch what's happening because the Ukrainian fighting force is putting up such a valiant fight. They're doing everything they possibly can to equip every warfighter to be worth 10, 20, 30, 50 Russian fighters, right? But that's their most limited resource. The clock that Zelensky knows he's fighting against, that he's racing against, is not a clock of fighter jets or missile defense systems. It's how am I going to find enough fighters? And NATO and the West know that they don't want to put their boots in Ukraine fighting the Russians, because that's all it would take for the Russians to basically say, hey, NATO allies are killing Russians, so now Russia can kill NATO allies. And because Russia is a nuclear power, they essentially have the same like the same trump card that we had in World War II. So nobody in NATO wants to mess with that trump card. So what I see happening is China will make a legal move on Taiwan.
What legal play do they have with Taiwan, though?
They have a number of legal plays. First of all, do you know what the official American stance is on Taiwan?
It's something like we're not going to do anything, but don't like touch them. It's so like bizarrely vague.
Yeah, it's called the One China, Two Systems policy. Essentially, in the eyes of American policy, Taiwan already belongs to China.
Interesting.
So then China also has acknowledged with Taiwan, you have your own system, but you're still part of the mother country.
This is Hong Kong 2.0.
Hong Kong 2.0. And over the stretch of 80 miles from coast to coast between southeastern China and Taiwan. So it's sticky, man. If China makes a legislative move that basically forces the Taiwanese system to then say, you are now communist, right? They could have the legal foundation to do that. And then a legal attack is very similar to what they did in Hong Kong. That goes to court systems. That doesn't go to bullets, right? And then when the legal system starts to go in their best interest or in their favor, now China has legal grounds to basically have Chinese police officers enforce Chinese law inside Taiwan. This whole process, what the hell is the United States going to do? There's no missiles, there's no guns. You can drive through the straits all you want. It's a legal issue. It's not a military issue. The news media oversimplifies everything. So media says that the UN passes resolutions that condemn Russia. That's true. And the UN passes resolutions with a large majority. 140 countries, condemn Russia. That is also true. What they're not telling you is that the countries who are not condemning Russia are the largest, wealthiest countries in the UN. China is not condemning Russia. South Africa is not condemning Russia. India is not condemning Russia, right? Even inside NATO, you have Belgium and Hungary who are not condemning Russia.
Really?
So even NATO is not unified on this.
Whoa.
Right? China has all the rules that all the cover it needs to basically start shipping National Guard troops, police officers, even military units over to Taiwan. And now Taiwan belongs to China in a bloodless war, very similar to the bloodless coups that we've seen multiple times in places like Thailand or all over Southeast Asia, right? That's how I see it happening. And I see it largely happening in the lead up to the 2024 election because China is going to benefit from a very confused American base.
It will be peak division.
During peak division and electoral cycle.
Wow. That's so distressing because that feels very plausible.